Hello, 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 hello. All right, so this is Solomon, and if you're here with me, this is live. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And I'm here to talk about something that's just been going on in my mind. And I just thought, hey, maybe I should, get a conversation going. And everything is live; it's not pre-recorded, so you're just coming along with me. And I'm sure you are looking seeing the topic. Can AI take away your creativity-based jobs? And this is a conversation that's been going on the internet. And I just thought, let me come and talk about it, and maybe some people would find that interesting as well, because there's a lot of talk about this on the internet. And this happened because OpenAI released what's called GPT on, I think it was the 30th of November. And because of that, there are tons and tons of videos on the internet. And people are saying all kinds of things. And so if you've not heard about this, I think it's an interesting thing, and everybody at least should be thinking about it, right? And so the question is, can AI take away your creativity based jobs? Can AI do that? And that's what I want to explore today. And why am I doing that? Because it's actually because I saw an article on the Atlantic, and I've actually seen many articles on my LinkedIn. Basically, even on YouTube, there are many, many videos like that, and it just got me thinking that maybe I should get a conversation going, and people who are interested in my content can come along with me, and we can talk about it. All right. So, can AI take away your creativity jobs? The article I read basically, and I'm going to share that right now. So I'm going to share my screen, and this is live, so you're just going to come along with me. This was the article. It was asking the question: your creativity won't save your job from AI. And my question is that really true? Is that really true? And if you go through the article, it makes the point that earlier on in 2013, 2012, there about when these things began. um, Hi, Julius. I can see what you're saying. You say AI can do that. I actually don't think so. Yeah, I know people can make that argument, but I personally don't think so. And I'm going to give you why I don't think so. I'm going to do something here. I will put in the chat a link, and if you want, you can come on and join me, and we can have a conversation on this. But I believe that I think first of all, we have to talk about what is creativity, right? What is creativity? And I believe that creativity, is something that's really in it. It's something that is part of your soul. That's part of who you are. And that is something that no matter how good AIs get, this is my opinion. And if you differ, that's great, and we can have a conversation on that. But I think that no matter how good AI gets, no matter how good AI gets, it would never, AI does not have a soul. Think about it. AI doesn't have a soul. And I think true creativity is something that's embedded, that's part of your soul. So just think about it. And I'm gonna let's define what is creativity, right? Let's define creativity. And let's see, define creativity. Because I think that is something that we can use as a basis um, to look at to have this conversation. So it says here, creativity is defined as a tendency to generate or recognize ideas, alternative possibilities. That is not. I want a better definition. Okay, so the ability to make or otherwise bring into existence something new, whether a new solution to a problem or a new method. The ability to produce or use original and unusual ideas. Creativity is a process involving the generation of new ideas, concepts, or new associations between existing ideas and concepts, right? Okay, so my point is, I personally believe that creativity is part of your soul. And speaking from the Christian perspective, I believe that creativity is is part of who God made you. And because AIs don't have a soul, it is very difficult for, no matter how good AIs get, in my opinion, it's going to be very difficult for AI to come up with true creativity. And that's where my argument basically is. All right. And my thinking is, so let me quit sharing the screen now. But my thought is, creativity is part of your soul. The Bible says something that he breathed into man and man became a living soul. And in so doing, God basically put what is part of himself, which is the creative part of himself, in man. And I believe no matter how good it gets, no matter how solid it gets, it cannot have the same level of being able to imagine, create something out of the imagination. I think I've seen a definition that actually talks about being able to create something out of the imagination. And you and I know that AI, at least not now, cannot imagine. Hey, Raquel. Hey, good to see you. So, AI, in my opinion, will not be able to imagine. What is imagination? If you think about it, your imagination can take you places where you've never been before. The imagination, you imagine, when you imagine it, you can go places that you've actually never been before. I just want to post this in here. If you are on and you want to come in the studio and have a conversation with me, you are welcome to do that. I'm putting this in the chat, and let me know if you can see that so you can join in and come in the studio. But my argument is this. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Raquel, you said thank you for sharing such information. I'm super happy you're shedding light on this. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to do that. This is live, and it's I haven't done a live in a long time. So yeah, it's and I'm trying to manage everything. So Judah says, I know that, let me see if I can show this. It's a long one, but I know that this is not like what happens in the Industrial Revolution. It would happen gradually, so it was so hard. Yes. Yes, so I'm slightly agree. Okay, great, great. Yeah, so that's true. That's my point too. So if you think about it, AI, cannot imagine. And I believe the imagination, true creativity actually comes from the imagination. True creativity comes from the imagination. And that is something that an AI, no matter how good, no matter how great, we the developers get it to be. I can imagine that maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, AI is going to be so good that it will be very difficult to distinguish between a real person, excuse me, and an AI. But then you would know, you and I would know for sure that this is AI. This is an AI generated product. I mean, think about it. If in the future you have say a painting by AI, side by side, a painting by a person who's putting their heart and soul, blood and sweat in creating that piece. And even if they are going for the same price, which one will you choose? I guess that would be the question. Which one are you going to choose? I bet you will choose. I would definitely choose the one that a human being put their heart and soul in, right? And then if you also think about, let's see what Jesus says. However, the speed of AI technology evolution and revolution is frightening sometimes. Yes, absolutely, it is frightening. I don't know if you have tried using the new Chat GPT. If you haven't, I'm just going to demonstrate something that is really happening right now. So, what I'm showing on the screen right now is the Chat GPT. This is Chat Open AI, and I'm looking that way because I have a screen right here, and this is live. So just kind of trek with me. Yes, right. Yes, Rahel. I will choose the human one as well. That's absolutely true. And so I mean, let's looking at the capability of the AI. I know it's very compelling, but and I'm going to show you something right now. So, for instance, if I said, let's say, I feel sad. Please help me. Let's see what it's going to say. Hi, Aya. Good to see you. So this is an example, as you can see on the screen. This is an example of let's say somebody having a session, like a therapy session with Chat GPT. I just said, hey, I'm feeling sad. Please help me, and look at what it's doing. The result it's giving me right now. I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling sad. It's completely normal to feel a wide range of, but if you read it carefully, you realize that this is basically picking data, right, from the enormous amount of data that it's studied or has been trained on, and it's using that as a basis to generate what I will call um, a generic what do you call it, response to my question basically. Hey, I see Aya in the studio. Thank you for coming. I'm going to be adding you to the stream, and anybody who wants to come on, please come on. Please come on. Let's see. Hello, Aya. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
This is
Uh,
so cool. This is really, really cool that
thank
you're
you.
doing this, that you're showing us this. I mean, I've been reading about this, but I never actually like followed through. Is it free?
It is free. It is free. You can sign up with any account. I signed up with my Google account, and you can ask it anything. You can ask it to. I actually read an article where somebody used it to come up with to author a children's book, and basically asking he asked the AI to write a story about Alice, and he basically had to go through it, iterate and go through it with the AI, and the AI came up with a very good book. And he combined it with another AI, and the other AI came up with all the drawings for the book and all that. So the possibilities are endless. But I just still think that AI can still not take away jobs of creativity just because of the arguments I was making earlier. What do you think? What do you think, Aya?
Well, you know how my mind works. So who does the intellectual property belong to? Does it
Yeah.
belong to the chat G? Like, see, I'm not, see, one of, I saw that whole AI art thing with the Lensa. And one of the reasons why I didn't do it is because I do not want them to have, um, to own my image, to own my images, and have complete control, and not be able to, like, maybe I see my picture up somewhere and I don't get any money from that. I'm very into that. So I
Yeah.
am. I'm like, I really feel like, people need to really value their intellectual property and value their images, value their, like, just don't sign everything away for $7.99, $5.99 free,
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, if this children's book, I have no idea, but I wonder if this children's book becomes a bestseller if he has to give that company some money.
That is a great point, because I think when I was reading that article, I wish I could find that, but when I was reading that article, they were saying that some artists, I mean, people who are actual, children's books illustrators, and people like that were really, some of them were disappointed, because this whole argument about, copyrights with intellectual property, it's very, it's a territory that we need to really define and get great understanding of how, all these things are going to play out. But you make a very excellent point. You make a very excellent point. So what else do you think about it? I mean, other than the intellectual property?
Um, I mean, that's kind of it. I mean, I think, I want, first of all, I don't know too much about, who creates AI. And so,
Okay.
and I don't know too much about what is the intention and purpose behind it. And I think, in terms of, I think a lot of things will be replaced, because here's the thing that I think so many times, if we look at how companies, at least major global corporations, move, it seems like their main focus, not all of them, but it seems like the majority of them, their main focus is, profit margins, how to increase profits, how to, minimize their expenses. So while I don't think it can replace, human creativity, of course, because human creativity created AI. What I think is
I like
that,
that. Wait, hold on. I think that's excellent. I didn't, it's never actually occurred to me. It's human creativity that created the AI. That's an excellent point. But go
right.
on. I just wanted to
Um,
highlight that.
Thank you. I think so. While I think that, what you were saying and what other people who have been saying are saying, like you, I still think it's going to happen because it's just cheaper for companies. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, especially if consumers respond. So if consumers respond, let's use something like the Lensa capture picture. If consumers respond to that and they
Hmm.
like that, and that's how they want to, present themselves, people were doing that for $7.99, you know, and,
Yeah.
okay, so, and so now, um, or if you create some type of blog or post or something, or something to do with, like, the chat bot or something to that effect, and if people accept it and start to use it, and it's like the new normal,
Hmm.
and everyone may know, like, okay, it's not the best thing, but it's the new normal. We have to be mindful of that. And I think it's very naive, in my opinion, for people to feel like it cannot replace things that we would think it would not replace. That's just what I think.
No,
Is
yeah, no, I think that that is an excellent point, and the reason I say that is, just like any and every technology, um, when the internet, started in the early 2000s, right? Certain kinds of jobs were replaced. I remember the time where a lot of people, engineers, managers and all that, had private secretaries who typed their stuff for them, right? And then computers became, ubiquitous. Everybody had a laptop, a computer, and therefore everybody started typing their own thing. So that job, that market kind of um, was lost. So I think AI would, like you're saying, would also change the market, the job landscape. And so I think what's really important is for us to, everybody should find ways to really make themselves, to adapt to the times, to equip themselves with new skills, because in as much as AI will come and will change certain job, certain areas, it's also going to create new kinds of jobs, in my opinion, right? It will create certain jobs that will be very available for new kinds of people, and then it would also modify certain ways of doing old things, right? It may not be a complete job loss, but it would change. Basically, it will definitely change the job landscape, like you're saying. And I think we all need to maybe sharpen our skills, find where areas that we are lacking, and sharpen our skills. I mean, if you're a
I mean, I think,
copywriter.
so I think though, I think what's interesting about this though is that the impact, like I keep hearing people say that, oh, it'll create new jobs. It will, I keep hearing people say that.
Yeah.
Not, you're not the only person I've heard say that. I've heard a lot of people say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's, something in my spirit just makes me feel like it's not the same. And it's not the same because what technology and communication is doing is like, so many of us, we can't even imagine, like, because if once it comes to the consumer market, it's already been used in major corporate, it's already been used in military grade. It's already, like, so by the time it comes to the consumer market, it's like, this is like, we're the last people to get anything, consumers, like and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, we're the last people to get stuff. And so,
Yeah.
I think that there's two things that are going to happen. Um, I think you either going to be like, unless we get drones like in Star Wars, yeah, a droids like in Star Wars, um, you're gonna be like labor,
Mm-hmm.
labor,
Mm-hmm.
or you have to be using something that's like really using your brain, or you have to have like a skill that a computer can't do. So if you don't, and sometimes that's not as obvious. I mean, I really think the landscape in the next 5-10 years
Mm-hmm.
is really going to be crushing to a lot of people,
Yes.
particularly people in the West, particularly Americans,
Mm-hmm.
because is if you don't have that like mind, like if you've been um a lot of things have been coming easy to you, you haven't had that like, man, I gotta survive kind of mentality,
Yes.
then you don't even know that things are rapidly changing. Like, you
That's
don't
true.
even know, like, there's so many people who don't even know, and by the time they realize things have rapidly changed, it's like they've already been run over. And this is not like, I'm not like a fear person. I'm not afraid. Like, this is not even about fear tactics, but I really feel that way. Like, I feel like sometimes people are listening to like, oh, it's going to change and there'll be different jobs. No, there's going to be a whole season of people, a whole generation of people that will be crushed. Just like
Mm-hmm.
there was every time some major shift in technology has happened on human earth, there's a whole generation that's crushed,
Uh-huh.
and that is reality. There's a whole generation of people that are crushed. Their dreams are crushed. They're saved because our lives are not that long. 50 years, 60 years, maybe, like, our lives are not that long. So, someone being born, like, even someone being born, let's say 1930 to 2030, that's like, so much has happened. So our lives are not that long, and technology keeps advancing. And then who knows, we're also not being careful about our planet. We're not
Yeah.
being careful about how we treat our planet. So there are lots of things that are accelerating and advancing, but we don't have the responsibility to really take care of the impact we're having.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people are going to be crushed. Um, and so I think everybody should start praying and find out how not to get crushed. That's what I think.
No, I think you raised so many excellent points. You raised so many excellent points, and like you said, it looks like people in the West, especially, are going to be crushed in many ways. Why do you think people in the, for lack of better expression, the developing countries are not going to be affected? I mean, that's what I'm deducing from what you're saying. What, if that's correct? Why do you think that?
Oh no, they're going to be affected too, but the difference is people in developing countries are used to, if they're, most developing countries have like two classes: ultra wealthy, very very well to do, maybe three classes: ultra wealthy people who are in like government, diplomats, like they're related, their job, their stability comes from their work for the government, um, and then everybody else, which is, survival every day, generally speaking, right? And
Yeah,
so as a result of that, they're just, they're just used to hard life, you
yeah,
know, and if they get a chance, they're going to really go after the chance. Here in America, we're not used to hard life. I'm not saying some people don't have a hard life, but we're not really used to really the hard life. Like this
true
is
hard life, right?
hard. This is a hard life because in America it's been built on, okay, if you go to college, okay, if you do this, if it's like these things, if you do this, then this will happen. But
Right.
if it's not like that, and
Mhm.
so if you're assuming like, oh, if I do this, then this will happen. If I go to college now, then this will happen.
Yeah,
Like, no, no, that's absurd. Right. But if you try to tell someone that, they just will fight you, fight you, fight you. And it's like, no, you need to find a way to make money now. Like you need to find a different way. You don't need this like college to give you a piece of paper to tell you that. And I've been to college, I've graduated, I have a higher education. I'm not like one of those people who's saying this because I don't have that. I'm saying it like it's just not the same as it was 20, 30 years ago.
that's true.
Um, and so how money's moved, and so I think it's a mentality, because I see it right now. Like so many people I know who they're used to getting jobs. So let's say like even like elderly people. When I say elderly people over 65, they changed the retirement age. People are running out of money, they didn't save any money, so now they're competing with teenagers for the so now you see two things at Walmart: teenagers and people over 60. So now you
Yeah,
got two parts of the population competing for those types of jobs. They're for teenagers, they're for young people, they're for people to figure out. They're not like jobs to support a family, to like take care of your life. But that is, those lines are blurring more and more.
yeah.
And you'll find people right now in this day and age where it's like they really just don't understand technology. And it's like they feel like that's okay, or the technology they understand is like social media.
That's true.
It's like, oh, okay, social media. Like, and social media is not technology, it's just social media. So if you spend
Yeah.
all your time out watching TikTok, when that's not going to like up your skills watching TikTok all night. You don't even know why China even released TikTok. Really, they could just be releasing it to like dull the population so they could come over and take over. Nobody even wants to talk about those things. But
And TikTok could be banned, by the way.
yeah,
I don't know
I
if you've
mean,
been
TikTok
listening to
should
the
have been
news.
banned. I don't even know why they even let that over here. Like, just for national security, I'm like, come on, guys. China
Yeah.
is not our friend like that. But in terms of national politics, I'm not talking about Chinese people. That's not. I'm just talking about um, political dragons.
Hmm.
So as a result of that, that's why I feel that way, because we're
Okay.
so used to the comfort. So because we are used to the comfort, those are the people. You see Cuba and all of those revolutions. It's the people who were comfortable that really felt it. They're the ones who have to run. They're the ones who have to start over. They're the ones who have to leave everything behind and start over. And it's
Yeah.
like, as Americans, like, where are we going? This is our land. Like, so
That no, that is an excellent point. Now, before I ask you the next question, hey Julius, do you want to come on? Because it looks like you have a lot of interesting, points that you're sharing, and I'll be happy to let you in the studio. So I put the link in my LinkedIn. I made it as a post, and you can come or use the link if you like to come on. And Glory Days, I see you are in the studio, but for some reason it says your devices are not connected. So I don't think I can add you. I tried, but I can't get you on. So what I would suggest is if you can get out of the studio and come back in, okay? Or maybe you don't have a mic or something. I'm not sure what it is. So please check that out. All right. Is there any? Was there something else that you wanted to add, Aya?
No, it's a powerful conversation.
Okay. Okay. Well, you did say. I think one of the things you said, which I thought was. Oh, I wanted to come back to that, but I lost my train of thought. Yes. Yes. When you talked about TikTok, I remember watching a YouTube video with my sons, and these were Gen Zs, Gen Z people being interviewed on YouTube, and they were asking them very simple questions that you would think that anybody who is being educated, even to a high school level, uh, would would know. I think some of the questions they were asking them, and these are people in America, by the way, they were asking them questions like, "Hey, name three countries that other than the U.S." And I kid you not, some could not even name even one. And it was shocking. It was shocking to me. And I bring that up because, and this comes back to people really making themselves, one, employable, and two, um, having the skills even to become entrepreneurs themselves, right? I mean, being able to make something of themselves, in my opinion, right? And they couldn't what I consider very simple information, like if you are in America, and for instance, and you cannot name three other countries. I mean, Canada is right to the north, Mexico is down, and if you listen to news, you know about China, I mean, come on. But do you know, when those people were asked to mention the names of the Kardashian family, they listed names that I didn't even know ever existed in the Kardashian family. So it tells you how people, at least that's how I see it, how people in the West are, in some ways, in my opinion, depending so much on social media and are not equipping themselves for the turn of the way the whole world is going. And I think some people are just not preparing themselves for the change that's coming. What do you think about that? Are you with me?
Yes, let me unmute. So, yes, I mean, definitely. And I'm sure some people will say that it's kind of, there's a subset of the population that's always been like that. But
Mm.
definitely, Ray Dalio talks a lot about this, about, the end of an empire and America being an empire and the end of it and why. And one of the things he talks about is education and the population's like, education and stuff like that. I think America is really unique because so many people want to imitate America. Like, people are imitating, there's things about America that I particularly appreciate a lot, like a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
Recently I've been thinking about women in Iran a lot. And so there are lots of things about America that I appreciate. So it has its good and bad portions. But I think, I think it's like anything else, um, what I think will disappear in America is this idea of middle class. I think that will disappear. This idea of middle class. I think people will be ultra rich, really, there's levels: ultra rich, really rich, rich, um, you know, upper rich, lower rich, and then like struggling.
Okay. Yeah.
Where, because it's, if you look at just this trajectory of like just basic necessities, I mean, housing is really high,
Yeah.
healthcare, um, childcare, um, trying to get your kids into good schools, energy cost. I mean, just really, like, we're not talking about like a fancy lifestyle. We're talking about like really basic things. And almost all of the major cities are extremely unaffordable for
Mm-hmm.
even two people, two-person households. If they're not having like, if they're trying to live off like $30,000 a year for both of them or something like that. So, it's all about dollars and cents to me, in the sense of like really, educating yourself economically,
Yeah.
because your life can be however you want it to be. So, you know, like when I talk about money, I'm not like, oh, everyone should be rich. That's not really the point. But you do know that there's certain things that you need, and you need to know how you can position yourself to have those things in a way that you don't lose your sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that ignorance is, in this day and age of information, is really costly,
Yeah.
really costly. Like it's even more costly than normal. Like it's normally costly. Even the Bible says that God said specifically, He said, "My people they perish for knowledge," and then He says, "I will reject my people because you have rejected knowledge."
Rejected knowledge.
Like,
Yeah.
so, I
Okay.
mean, it's really kind of like, my gosh. And that perishing is not an immediate perish. It's a slow, if you look that word up in the Hebrew, it's like a slow death. Like it's not like an immediate perish. It's like a slow, like death, like over time. And I think that is something, um, that like people need to realize, like you don't want to have a slow death,
Yeah.
right? Like, because if you're like a frog in a hot water, I mean, like if you're in a frog, you're like a frog and the water's going, it's first just like lukewarm and then it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And then you're like, dying. You don't want that.
Okay. Yeah. Hello there. So we have Julius. Hey, Julius. I'm saying Julius Gilbert, right? Hi, Julius.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
hear me?
that's true. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you. Hey, thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Thanks for joining
No
us.
worries, no worries, Mike.
Yeah,
No worries.
you had great inputs there. So can you tell us what you think about the topic?
Yeah, it is an interesting topic actually. I'm lecturing in the management information system, and this is the last topic that I always give to my student. I
Hmm.
always questioning them.
Okay.
Yeah, the same question that you put in there.
I see.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Some say yes, some say no.
Hmm.
Uh, Yeah, some I think, but I think what I'm afraid of, if the technology uh, would someday overrule the creator, the human that made the robots, the AI is better than human brain.
Mm-hmm.
Make the AI could be creative, could think on their own, could someday maybe give different opinion, maybe give an argument over the other, what happened in the society, and
Mm-hmm.
direct the society at the wrong direction.
Okay.
What happened now is AI is like entering everything in our society through the
Yeah.
electronic government things to everything in business
Yeah.
too. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's not. It's helping a lot of us, but in some way, it's like remembering us about what happened in industrial revolution when the machine cha- uh, made a lot of people laborless.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing happened in banking. Teller is not needed anymore. The front office girl that you usually met with a smile is not needed anymore. The AI is something like that. That I think we human must have some kind of control
Yeah.
over what the expert in robotics doing right now. They
So
must.
let me
Yeah,
ask you a question. You said something that the like having a beautiful smile and at the teller or what at the office and stuff like that are not needed. We don't need it now. I know, and I'm gonna say something. I know that I actually
Mm.
know a company that is actively, so they went that in that direction, where they got rid of front office people like that who will greet you and stuff like that, but are actually right now beginning to reintroduce the front office, the front desk, and the reason they are doing that is this. They created the what's called the hoteling system in their office setup, so that nobody had a specific office. You don't have your own desk. When you come in, you just go and pick any desk, and you stay on that, right? So one day
Mm.
you sit here, the next day you can sit somewhere else. You could sit anywhere you wanted.
Mm. Mm.
And
Mm.
what they found is that when people sometimes come in, they don't know what to do, so they had to get it's almost like it's becoming a like a quirk. So it's something that now companies are beginning to reintroduce, because that smile they wanted. They are giving free
Yeah.
coffees now, free coffee station, that kind of thing. So I mean, what do you think about that in light of what you're saying? Because I think some
Yeah.
companies went in
Yeah.
that direction, but they are coming back because there is now the need for, I think people are wanting that human touch again,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
So are
you're
you
right.
following me? So because
Yeah, I'm with you, brother.
everything, would you want to listen to a robot, an
No,
AI powered
no.
robot at the front office,
Eh,
or would you want a human being? In fact, there are some companies that actually advertise, when you call
mm.
our help desk, you talk to a real human being. Have you
Yeah,
heard that? Like I hear
yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know.
In banking industry,
Mm-hmm.
that's the first place in industry that using that kind of technology.
Mm-hmm.
And they reintroduce the human things again, the smiles, the
Yeah.
way we interact in faces to face. That's what we usually miss the most,
Yes.
because we are human, we are not robot. If you are robot, and then we will not needed that kind of smile. You just
Mm-hmm.
say hi Solomon in just saying, without smiling or without greeting, or just Solomon, come here.
Yeah.
It's just like ordering,
Yeah.
like and Aya said in the Star Wars movie. You are right,
Mm-hmm.
Aya. I heard you before too. And that quite a frightening, that quite a
Yeah.
frightening. Are we as human will allow our society, our next generation, act like robot? Do
Okay.
we allow that? No,
No, no,
brother.
absolutely not.
Yeah, it against the basic principle of us of being human,
Yeah.
being sent by God to this earth. We were
Yeah.
to lose our humanity first, and then we will lose our identity as human, and then we will act like robots. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what if my students say yes, maybe no, that's the right question. But I couldn't forecast what happened in the future. It's up to the government, but it's allow us to think about it. It
Mm.
allows to make maybe to support a government who give a regulation to what's this robotic lab around the country, and be aware of it, because something frightening might be happen. A quantum leap, a technology is like they could make a quantum leap in technology. No, brother.
Yeah,
Eh,
no, that's absolutely right. I mean, you make very excellent points in there. So listen, I didn't intend to make this live stream a long one, and
yep,
so
it's okay.
Do you have any final word before Aya, you didn't give us a final word. I don't know if you're still there, but Julius, give your final word, and Aya, if you can do that as well. And Julius, you
Okay.
can make it if you have
Regarding
any
to,
final words, do you?
yeah, yeah, I relate it to maybe God, maybe um, soul, heart. Do it really come from God? I don't think so. I just write the message there. Human could act, could do inhuman behavior. When they do that, they lose their soul. They become soulless. Do you understand what I mean, brother? Aya,
Well,
do you understand?
well, I understand what you I think I understand what you're saying. But I would say that's a topic for a different live stream, and we can talk about. I personally believe, and this is my, from a Christian perspective, that the soul is given by God. The Bible says that God breathed in man and he became a living soul. So,
Mm.
and I believe in the Bible. So from that perspective, that's what I'm going to say. But that's not really the topic for this live
Yeah,
stream.
yep,
So
yep.
we can visit that in a different live stream.
Yeah,
So
it's all right.
yeah. So I appreciate you. I really appreciate you coming on the live. Aya, do you have any final words before we
Thank you, Julius, for your contribution. Thank you, Solomon, for even having
No
this live.
worries, Aya.
Yes, and having this live and just showing us. I didn't get notified, so I joined a little bit
oh
late, but I'm happy that I was able to join. And these are good topics, and hopefully we'll be having these topics on TED, having these conversations on TED stages, and we'll be thought leaders talking about things that, because I want to really remind people, and I know I say this all the time, but I really feel led to say this, like the world is created by thought leaders, people who create, right? So people who
yes.
create in whatever way, whether it's written, verbal, videos, books, information, even narrative or opinions. You know, they are the ones who decide how things play out, right? Because there's always a perspective. Even I believe in the Bible as well. Even the Bible, there's a lot of things that are not in there, right? In the sense of what I mean by that is like there's so many times I read a story and I have so many questions about what's not in there. It doesn't mean that what's in there is not good. It's just like, well, what did that mean? And so at the end of the day, like it's who writes things down. It's who creates that shapes the way that we see the world. So start being that one of those people. Stop consuming, stop being 100% a consumer. Start to be creating. Maybe be 90-10, maybe 90% creator, 10% consumer. I mean 10%, I'm sorry, 10% creator, 90%. It's fine. Start today. But maybe you'll find yourself one day being 50% creator, 50% consumer. Be a creator, however that looks like to you, because that's what you need to be to make sure you don't get crushed during this transition, right? Because it's a transition, and like all transitions, if you and that's the most vulnerable time. Can you imagine when you're transitioning, like if you're a woman, you're having a baby, that transition from having, like, transitions are the most vulnerable times for humans. Just when when you're just transitioning out of sleep, when you're transitioning to sleep, when you're, transitions, like when you're moving, you're like all of these things, that's the most vulnerable time, because you're not ready, you're not like set. When the guards are changing, those are when things can slip in. So why I'm saying that is that we are in a transition as a culture, as a human race. It's a big transition, and if you don't know what's going on, you will be caught and crushed. And you can only do what you can do. It's not like you have to be, you have to know everything. But I'm telling you, to be even A little prepared is better than the person who has no preparation. So get prepared and do that in whatever way you can, and then trust God for the rest. You know, trust God, trust God, trust God, trust God, trust God, trust God. Lean into God, trust God, trust God. He does not change. He told me the other day, I am Yahweh, I change it not. That's why you sons of Israel have not been consumed. So lots of things are changing, but God is not. So trust God.
I love that. Trust God. You said so many things, and I just want to highlight those. One of the things you said is be a creator. I think that's and I've heard you, I've listened to you, I say, teach your clients and to be creators, and you emphasize that here, right? As well, we have to be creators, not just consumers. You're obviously, if everybody is a creator, somebody's got to be a consumer. And that's why he said, let's be 90% creators and 10% consumers. And I think that's excellent. We got to, whatever field you find yourself in, find ways to create and also trust God. I love that. I love that about trusting God. It's one of my hallmarks, one of my ethos, one of the things that I believe in, and in every facet of my life, I want to live with a sense and with a focus on trusting God in everything. So in all these things, with advent of AI, with so many things changing in, with blockchain technology coming along, you know, uh, if you listen to the news, it's like today is this, and oh, maybe U.S. going to go to war with China, this and that and that. All in all those things, I believe that those who trust God will be fine, regardless of what comes our way. And but we should do, and even with that understanding, we should still, make ourselves marketable, build our skills, and create, as Aya said. And I think that we will be fine, regardless of how many AIs, and technology that developed in the future, if we position ourselves very well. So um, it's been about 52 minutes. I'm gonna end it, but my intent is that, every live stream I'll just give the opportunity to maybe pray for people, or whoever wants prayer. I will be happy to do that, because I love prayer, and I actually founded a prayer social, which is a social media platform that's focused and dedicated to prayer, and also the holistic well-being of its members. So I'm going to end this broadcast by saying a quick prayer. So, Father, we thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for all the things that you've made available to us. And I pray that anybody who is watching this, or who watch it later and is having job issues, or fears, or with all the, as they hear the news of this, and it might incite fear in some people, but Father, we know that in you we have the assurance that we will be safe. Those that run into you will be safe. And I thank you for that. And I pray that anybody watching who needs healing, you are the healer. Anybody watching who is depressed, you are the one who brings peace. And I pray that you will pour out yourself on everybody who watches and opens their hearts up. I thank you, Father, and I bless you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right, folks.
And
Thank you so much, Aya, for the support. Thank you, Julius, for being here. Those who watch his word, anybody who watches later, I appreciate you so much. This was really unplanned. Like, I just decided I was going to go live, and and it's live. There's nothing that's going to be edited. So I appreciate you. I'm not going to say, I don't know when I'm going to do it again, but I until the next stream. Peace. Thank you. Bye, everybody. I'm going to end the broadcast.